If you click on this video, I'm considering you have some confusing doubts in your head regarding the client acquisition and pricing of your voice agent, how to do it, what steps to follow, what structure to follow, and all that crap. So what I'm going to show you in this video is how I save this fitness coach X hours a week, which we're gonna cover until the end of this video. So be sure you are tuned during every part of the video because this does contain some really decent value that's gonna help you. Okay, if you don't know me, I'm Shivansh. I'm into AI automation since pretty while now, and I've been creating such AI automations, such AI based systems that first of all deliver high ROI to the clients and also are really practical and settable. Here's what I'm going to show you is basically a voice agent that I built for this fitness coach, and which was just a lead qualifier, calling up with all the leads that came in through the Google ads, Facebook ads, and qualified them into the next step so that this fitness coach can actually save their hours and save their time calling only the individuals who were serious about getting a coaching program for themselves. In this video, I'm going to cover the live demo of this voice agent, the client acquisition, and the pricing structures, and how I priced my voice agent, and what analytics, what factors did I consider before pricing it as a system. Okay, so first of all, let's get into the live demo, which is of course not in this whiteboard. So what I'll do is I'll just go to my Google Sheet. Like what I'll do is I'll just insert a lead, an incoming lead into a Google Sheet, which will activate an workflow, and that workflow will then activate the voice agent, which will then call this particular lead to qualify them for the next stage, so that this fitness coach can actually have a real conversation with them and whatever. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll just fill in my information here, and let's see how we get the call, and let's see how the voice agent performs. All right, so the information is filled. I fill in my name, my phone number, and the email, and soon enough, I'll just get a call within, I guess, 30 seconds. And when I get the call, I'll just show you how the voice agent performs. Okay, I got the call. I'll just receive it. I'll just put it on speaker.
Hey, Shiv.
Hi, who's this?
This is Rachel calling from Angela's fitness coaching program.
Uh-huh.
Oops. I did you recently fill out a form for our program? Just
Yeah,
wanted
I
to
did. I did fill in the form this morning.
um sure. So to better understand your situation, just want to go through a few things with you. Is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
Right. Let's make it quick. First, what are your main fitness goals? Like weight loss, muscle gain, or just general fitness?
Yeah, like I'm planning to, I mean, by the end of this year, I'm planning to get to 12% body fat. I currently am at 16, I guess.
Got it. Aiming to reach 12% body fat is a solid goal. What kind of, workouts do you enjoy or have been doing, recently?
Um, like I just go to gym consistently and I do muscle hypertrophy training as particular in particular. So that's it.
Okay, cool. Muscle hypertrophy, yeah. And how about your nutrition? Any like specific dietary habits or restrictions?
No, not any restrictions. I just eat a lot of meat and yeah, I just take high protein meals. So that's probably it.
All right, high protein. That's good to know. Hmm. I'll pass all this info to Angela. She'll reach out for a more in-depth chat soon. Anything else you need for now?
No, I guess that's it. Thanks. So yeah, that said, you heard the voice agent yourself, how it sounded, how it actually qualified me, and this was just a demo one, like what I made just for the testing part of, like myself. The one that I actually delivered to the other client was like twice or thrice as bad as this, and it was actually able to have a really smooth talk with the other person. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Now let's get into the client acquisition part of it. So next we have our client acquisition, and here you see like basically how I acquired this client. Okay, a lot of the people, a lot of the AI automation developers have this question, have this concern of how do we actually land clients. They know how to make these automations. They have created a lot of automations themselves, and they really do have a good experience creating such systems. But eventually, where they get stuck is the point where it's about finding the clients. Okay, and I hear you. Okay, I hear you. This is how I actually acquired this client, and So I simply tell you what it is. So I just send them a cold email with a Loom outreach. So basically, what happened is I found this fitness coach through Twitter, through X, and what I did is I just scraped their email. Then I emailed them a Loom video of me just throwing up their X page and their X profile, and I just created a Loom video saying that I have this system. This is a particular ROI that I can potentially deliver to you, and I made it a no-brainer for her by saying that it is completely refundable if this thing doesn't work for her, or if this thing doesn't save her the time or the expected results that I'm talking about. Okay, all that stuff. I emailed her, then I didn't get a reply. I followed up with her, and once I sent two follow-ups, then I finally got a reply, and that's how things escalated. And here you see like how this Loom thing worked, how I created that Loom video. Okay, so you see, found their company's LinkedIn page. So you see, the first step found their company's LinkedIn page. Now I said X page, but here it is written LinkedIn page. So it's basically a it's not necessary that you might be targeting an individual only, right? You might be targeting any business, any agency, any such brick and mortar. So when you do it, you're not gonna get an X page. Rather, you can get a LinkedIn company page. So I've just written this thing for you to make it more simpler for you to understand and for your particular use cases. So let's say I got a company. So first find the company's LinkedIn page. Then I grab a quick overview of the company, and then I record this Loom video right away. I try being as articulate as possible with whatever I have to deliver and whatever value, whatever system I'm talking about. And then I discussed the ROI points in the video and showed them real results, real case studies, and real social proof. Then at last, I made a good offer that was nearly a no brainer for them. As I said, in the video, I talked about something, I made it an offer they could not refuse, and that's how I made it a complete no brainer. Now, once I hooked them into the offer, I scheduled a quick conversation with them to discuss the ROI potential tailored to their systems and working. Okay, so this wasn't a proper appointment, this wasn't a proper meeting where you actually close the other person, but this was just a casual call where I just first of all explained to them like what it is and how does it work because they were like kind of curious to know how does it work. They didn't know this thing actually existed or such a thing can potentially be really helpful for their particular business or whatever pain point this thing solved. And then once I had the call with them and once I made them understand how this thing worked and how the system can be implemented for their particular situation, then eventually I just closed them for a sweet deal. Okay, that's how it was. And I must tell you, it isn't as easy as it sounds, of course. All the creators out there just do make it sound easy and do make it sound simple, but yeah, it is simple but it's not easy. Okay, there's a difference between simple and easy. It is simple, it's not easy. Then the warning is no hard selling. Okay, throughout the process you don't have to be hard selling, you don't have to be desperate about making money, you don't have to be desperate about closing the other client, or you don't have to be desperate about selling your solution. Okay, the sales 101 is not being desperate about selling your service or selling yourself. Okay, believe that your stuff, and how do you actually not hard sell? Okay, I hear we don't hard sell, but how do we actually do it? So it's simple. Okay, believe that your stuff works. Know that no one is doing a favor if they, buy from you. They're just making an investment for themselves or their business. Okay, so eventually it's going to be a win-win for both of you. If you're in the agency space right now, okay, I'll just take an example of myself, my industry, which is the AI automation AI industry. So let's say you've just started your AI business and you struggle to find out clients, okay? You finally get a client, you book an appointment with them, but what happens is you develop this mentality throughout the process that they are kind of doing a favor by buying this thing from you, and that's when that's when psychologically you just develop this kind of desperation to sell them this thing, or like you just put all this pressure on yourself that you have to sell this thing, but you don't actually consider the fact that you are selling this thing to actually create value for them, or this thing is an investment for them which is going to help them in the long term. Okay, so you're just the service provider, you're not someone robbing them, you're not someone just forcefully taking their money, you're someone who's just showing them a path where they can make an investment and get some profit themselves. Okay, help themselves, believe that your stuff works. So in the first place, when you know your stuff is going to work, only then you'll be able to develop this kind of non-desperation and confidence in your product. Okay, so first you actually have to make your product worth something or actually working. If you're new to the space, if it's only been like 3 to 4 months since you've been in this space, You might not particularly build something, you might not particularly pay attention to something, to creating something that adds up to the value of the other person. Let's say you see all these voice agent videos out there, okay? And with that raging blood inside you, you just create a voice agent yourself, let's say a receptionist, okay? But the problem that arises is you don't actually understand the value it's going to create for the other person, or you don't actually focus on creating the value for the other person. You just focus on creating your product, regardless of it actually worth it? Is it actually something the other person would be willing to pay for? So you actually have to pay attention, you actually have to focus, you actually have to consciously think over making your product worth something worth buying. All right? So yeah, that's the thing. And know that again, know that no one is doing a favor, but rather making an investment for themselves or their business, okay? So that it can be a win-win for both of you. So that you sell the product, you earn the money, they get the product, they make more money themselves because it was an investment for them, and you actually created more value for them than you costed them. Okay, that's the whole thing. That's the whole concept. Then at last, care less about the product but about the results. Okay, as I said, that you don't actually have to pay attention to the product but the actual value it creates. Okay, no one pays. You might have heard this thing already a hundred. No one cares about your product. Everyone cares about the results or the value it's gonna bring to them. So you actually have to pay attention. So if you're a developer, say in the automation space or in the voice agent space, you actually have to care a lot about the results you are about to bring the other person rather than how good your product sounds, how good your product looks like, or how good your product, how simplistic, how complex your product is. Nothing matters as long as it brings a high value for the other person and it is a really good or above decent high ROI product, only then will it be able to sell. So first of all, just focus on creating value for the other person. That's the main goal. Your main goal is not to earn money. Your main goal is not to earn money. Your main goal is not to develop a really shiny, amazing, and incredible product. But your goal should be towards actually adding up value for the other person, for the business. Your value your goal should be to actually focus on how can I make this other business make more money, save more time, or how can I actually solve their pain points, okay? That's the whole thing. Now, I hope I made myself really clear for this client acquisition part and did clear some of your doubts, did clear some of your mindset points, some of your mindset factors that I had as a beginner and when that era of mine, that beginning era of mine, when I had all these things that I talked about, I had that same mentality. I had that same problem with me that I wasn't focusing on creating value, but I was focusing more on my product, and then I see my product is not just not selling. All that stuff happened, and that's how I learned. But I hope you actually paid attention to this part of the video, and you did get a lot to learn, okay? Now, getting into the pricing part of this whole voice agent system, like how did I price it? What factors did I actually consider before pricing this thing or before putting out any charge on that system? So, first of all, you just have to, again, as I said in the value creation thing, how much you can actually price your product depends on how much value you're creating the other person, okay? So here I see that for my particular case, for the fitness coach that I was building this thing for, she had average monthly leads like 170. She had like 170 average monthly leads coming in, sometimes 180, sometimes 210, sometimes 140. So average was like 170 and six daily leads, which is like 170 divided by 30. And her average coaching package was like 1200 a month, and her effective hourly rate was 180 to 190 per hour. Okay, then the time consumed per incoming lead. So first of all, the qualification call, like whenever any new lead came in, she had to call the other lead herself because she didn't have any other person to do it for her. So that particular qualification call just took like 5 to 10 minutes, anywhere between that, and then there were follow-ups because one call isn't just enough. If you know such sales processes and such typical situations, then one call isn't really enough to book an appointment. So most of the times there had to be follow-ups, which took like 10 minutes in total because they were about to happen 2 or 3 times, like multiple times. So in total, they took 10 minutes, and eventually, a total of 15 to 20 minutes were consumed per lead, right? Per coming incoming lead, and she was getting in 170 leads per month. So you can just multiply 170 by 15 or 20. You would get the time she was spending per month on just every incoming lead. Okay, I actually did it here, which was for per day. So 15 into 6, which is 15 minutes per lead, and 6 leads were coming in daily, so 90 minutes per day on incoming lead. It's like 1 hour and 30 minutes per day on just the incoming leads when you aren't even sure that all of them are going to convert, of course, right? Then, like, what were the results? How did the results look like? So before, the response delay was 45 to 60 minutes. So it was like whenever any new lead came in, it took her 45 to 60 minutes on an average to call the lead back and then, qualify them, ask them some questions, figure out how serious they are. So it typically took her 45 to 60 minutes. And then the lead to call booking rate was 18% and 10 to 11 hours per week on incoming lead, which is like uh, kind of this thing. 90 minutes per day in a week, it's like 7, 8, 7, 9, 6, 30 minutes per week. And it's almost like 10 to 11 hours per week on incoming lead. Then she wasn't being able to take on more clients due to time limitations, just because of the amount of previous clients she already had, and then the amount of time she actually had to spend on these incoming leads, right? She didn't have much time to actually take on more clients, and that's why this was one of her biggest pain points that she had to, one way or the other, just save time for herself. So what happened was, after the system was implemented, first of all, the response delay was 15 to 30 seconds. So, like, whenever any new lead came in, after 15 to 30 seconds, typically max 30 seconds, the lead was called back by this voice agent and it was qualified based on all the factors that I just showed you in the demo part, right? So the voice agent actually qualified the other person, and then the lead to call booking rate actually doubled. There's an analytic that if you call an incoming lead within 1 minute of their filling out the form or their signing up for whatever product or service you have, the chances of them booking a call are like 300% times higher than it would normally be. So it's like whenever any new lead signs up for your product or fills out a form, at least until 1 minute after that, they are a hot lead. I mean, if you contact them within under 1 minute of them filling out the form, the chances of them booking an appointment with you are really high. And that's why the lead to call booking rate for her was almost doubled, okay? And only 1 to 2 hours a week on qualified leads only. So now she just had to spend 1 to 2 hours a week max because now all those leads are pre-qualified by this voice agent, and only the pre-qualified leads are the ones with which the fitness coach had to actually have a conversation with. So that became pretty simple for her and pretty much more time saving for her. And then finally, like the final results were 30 plus hours saved per month. You can also say is like $5,400 saved per month because her effective hourly value was $180 and 180. And if you just multiply 180 with the 30 hours that we saved her per month, then it's eventually $5,400 per month. And six more clients per month due to no further time limitation and increased lead to call booking rate. So it's like because the lead to call booking rate was increased, the number of appointments booked per month actually increased. And then because now the number of appointments are increased, the closing rate for the client, the number of clients that could potentially be closed per month, now that's increased. So you see the maths behind it and you see all the logic behind it, and that's how she actually added up a lot of value to her coaching business and saved a lot of time, saved the money she was potentially leaving out on the table, and actually was successfully was successful in bringing on more clients aboard. Okay, and how I priced it was like $1,200 a month for 5 month contract because you see here, right? It's like $5,400 saved per month plus the $7,200 which I'm potentially making her extra because now I'm saving her time. As this third point says that six more clients per month due to no further time limitation. So it's like, and because her average schooling package was 1,200, so if you multiply 1,200 with six, it's like 7,200, and total monthly impact is $12,600, of which I only am taking the 10%. So it's like kind of a rule you can say, kind of a general analytic that whatever value you are creating for the other person, it's highly recommended that you only take 10% of that whole thing. So I just saved or made her $12,600 more per month, and I just took $1,200 per month. So for a 5 month contract, which was a total of $6,000, and yeah, just 10% of the monthly thing, this monthly total impact, whatever it is. That's the thing. That's the logic behind it, and I hope it actually gave you a greater idea of how to actually price your thing, how to price your voice agent or your automation system or whatever SaaS you have or whatever such service you have for the businesses, right? You just have to first of all focus on creating a lot of value for the other person, and then of all the value you created for them or of all the resources you saved them, you just have to take the 10% of it, okay? As simple as that. And if I hope not, but if these analytics sounded very complex to you and you are probably in a confusion like how do I identify for myself, like what analytics do I have to consider or anything like that, just keep in mind that you have to calculate the total value you're saving for them. And then once you have this goal that you have to calculate the total value you're creating or saving them, then your mind will already identify what analytics, what such factors you have to actually consider to get to your goal. Okay, that's how simple it is. And that was how I saved this fitness coach 10 hours a week. Okay, so yeah, that's the whole thing. I hope this video actually added a lot of value to you. And if it did, be sure to drop any gesture of appreciation in this comment section or by liking the video or just DMing me on school. I just have my school ID. My school ID, my school profile link in the video description. You can just reach me there if you have any queries, if you have any concerns, or you want to contact me, or if you're simply a business owner who's looking forward to implementing such systems or such voice agents, such builds for yourself, for your business, what you see on my channel and what you see in my videos, then I'll just be dropping a link for you in my in this video's description. You can just reach me there and we can just have a short conversation on how can these systems or what systems can actually be really beneficial for your particular business, for your particular systems, for your processes and whatever operations your teams do. Okay. Also, if you want, I can just prepare an audit for you so that it becomes easier for you to just recognize or identify um, which automation or what such system is going to be actually beneficial to you and what is going to be a great fit for your business, your systems, or your team members. Okay, that was for the video. I hope you liked it. I hope you have a great day and thanks for your time. I'll see you in the next one. And yeah, that's it. Bye bye.